Well, friends, hello everyone. I have good news. I am going to Shark Island. This will be my second attempt to survive on this island. I have goosebumps. I can already see Shark Island, like in horror movies. My name is Zhenya Panasiuk, and in search of new adventures, I am returning to the uninhabited island, which I previously named Shark Island. It didn't start off in the best way. Since early morning, there was a huge downpour, just a strong wind, and I thought my trip would be cancelled. But I still decided to take the risk and push through to the end. I found out that in the area where the island is, it's also raining. I don't know what will come of this, friends. No wonder I have one ear sticking out. You approved my hat on Instagram. So let's pack our things, get on the plane, and go in search of new adventures. Well then, everything is just like last time. From Island A to Island B, I had a 2-hour flight. I picked up my luggage, left the airport, caught a taxi, and went to the hotel. What can I say? Twice my trip has already been cancelled. Because as you can see, the weather is very bad. Right now, a huge cyclone surrounds the islands. And this morning, I woke up from an unreal downpour and strong wind. The doors were opening by themselves. I thought my plane would not fly anywhere. I wanted to cancel the flight, but at the last moment, I decided not to back down. Let's see what happens. I hope it won't rain all week, and I'll manage to shoot something interesting. My hotel was located near the port. I checked into my room and went for a walk along the promenade. I needed to find a ship and arrange with the captain to take me to the island. By word of mouth, I managed to find a ship's captain and made an arrangement with him. I returned to the hotel. And every half hour I looked out the window, hoping the rain would stop and the sun would come out, and that tomorrow would be warm and clear. But I was naively mistaken. The cost of renting the ship was $350, but since I was completely alone, I managed to bargain with the captain to a price of $250. Well, friends, I'm already on board the boat. It's raining, but that doesn't stop me. My mood is as combative as possible, so wish me luck. I'm heading off in search of new adventures on Shark Island. I was very anticipating the return to this island. On the horizon, I already saw familiar island silhouettes. Everything seemed very familiar, despite the fact that I was last here more than 2 years ago. Honestly, there was a slight anxiety inside. Besides the tropical rain that did not stop, big waves also rose, which easily rocked our ship from side to side. Despite the rainy weather, and it's not as beautiful, not as sunny, but nevertheless, friends, I am so enjoying myself. I have been waiting for this day for so long. I finally managed to get away. And I don't care what the weather will be like this week. Even if it rains, I don't care. I am sure that I will enjoy myself and be able to catch something interesting and shoot interesting material for you. In these shots, it is very noticeable how the strong waves easily rocked our ship in relation to the horizon. Now you understand why I had to rent a whole ship and not some small fishing boat. In the open ocean, very big waves rise, and we also had to overcome strong currents, which a small fishing boat simply cannot handle. The distance from the main island where I flew by plane to the Shark Island is about 40 kilometers. And considering these weather conditions plus the strong current, we will spend about 3 hours on this distance. Well, friends, I already see the Shark Island. Finally, I am returning. Island, welcome me. I missed you. But I don't know how much the island has changed in these 2 years. I really hope it is still completely uninhabited, and civilization has not reached it yet. Friends, this is no joke, the face of a happy person who is heading to an uninhabited island. For a week of solo survival, and in short, I am sincere with you. Sincerely sharing my emotions. Because I am very nostalgic about this island, to the point of goosebumps, to the point where I even get tears in my eyes. I am not exaggerating now. This is not staged, and I am genuinely happy that I returned here. And I promised that I would return to this island, and finally, I am here. Because it was the rainy season, the island was covered with green vegetation. The mangrove bushes have grown even more. But overall, the island remained as I remembered it last time, and so, the most important thing is my fishing gear. Since we returned to the Shark Island, and we will try to catch some fish, not necessarily a shark, I accomplished that mission. I will aim for GT. At least I need to catch something. But in any case, if I manage to catch a shark, a very big fish, that is also very good. Well, Shark Island, welcome, I am back. How I missed you. I took all my things. The ship's captain lifted his anchor and left my island. From this moment, my survival began. Well, friends, I am in place. Well, friends, let me share some emotions with you. It all started a long time ago. Basically, a very long time ago. As you can see, the weather is not pleasing, but I really hope that the wind will blow these clouds away. The sun will come out, and I will be able to spend a whole week here alone. I really hope that my island, it is not high, and the clouds will not linger here, so maybe there will not be such heavy rain here. But for now, it is raining. Nothing to worry about. Throughout my journey, I got upset several times. The weather completely ruined all my mood and fighting spirit, to be honest. But as soon as I boarded the ship at 5 o'clock in the morning, I saw the ocean horizon. And somewhere in the distance, there are large hilly islands. My mood immediately lifted. And despite this rain, this is nostalgia. I'm already so tired of looking for remote places away from civilization and filming my content there on an uninhabited island. It's a completely different story. And I'm very glad I got here. Despite this weather, I'm sure everything will work out for me, and you keep your fingers crossed for me. Look, this is a small tree gecko. There are many of them here. They hide either on branches or in dry leaves. There is a lot of small wildlife here. Various crabs, centipedes. There are even small scorpions. And there are also many forest and tree cockroaches here. This gecko turned out to be very tame, kind and friendly. It's a pity that the weather this time was not as friendly as this gecko. I decided to do a little inspection of the location, to see how the vegetation and relief of the island have changed. I went into a small dead end where there were mangrove bushes, and to get through them, I have to climb right over the trees and their roots. I need to find a place where the mangrove bushes are the thickest, so that I'm not in the water but can walk on the surface of the trees to the side of the ocean. Mangrove bushes are a separate, very rich ecosystem of the island. Thousands of different inhabitants live here, various crabs, mollusks, birds, fish, and insects. If you understand the mangrove forest correctly, you can easily get food here. So I think it's time to delve into the mangroves. Yes, I think we will move along these routes towards the ocean. At first glance, the roots of mangrove bushes are very thin and fragile. But even one such thin root easily supports my entire weight. It's very difficult to get through the mangrove thickets. Sometimes there's no choice but to jump into the water and swim from tree to tree. But finally, I managed to get out of this green maze. From my arsenal, I first took out a homemade bamboo spear. This is the first tool with which I started getting my own food. And you could say it's the symbol of my channel, the most primitive tool for underwater hunting. A sharp tip, a long piece of bamboo, and a piece of rubber. Notice how much the water level has dropped. I was swimming here today, right at the surface of these roots. The water has dropped by 2 meters for sure. Can you imagine that? Twice a day, low tide and high tide. It's now low tide phase. I'm waiting for the water to drop as much as possible so that I can get to the reef on the shallows, where there is already deep water, and cast my bait there. So here's an oyster, but it's already a dead oyster. Not the best environment for wading through the grass. Heat, tall grass. These are the perfect places for snake habitats, and I'm climbing here to get to that peak over there. And launch my drone, fly a bit, and study this island from a bird's eye view. It's very inconvenient to move here. Rocky terrain, but it is what it is. I decided to take the drone and fly over the island to make sure that no signs of civilization have appeared on the island in this time. That there are still no houses, no paths or roads on this island. That this island is still completely uninhabited. And I'm the only one here right now. From a bird's eye view, the island was visible like the palm of my hand. I was convinced that nothing had changed on the island. It is still completely uninhabited. You could only see small flocks of passing cockatoos. The first thing I realized, not to waste time, set up my camp, and need to prepare dry firewood. Because it's the rainy season, I understand that it rains here every day, and I need to take care of the dry firewood, because if it rains this week, it will be very difficult to start a fire. Therefore, we can't waste time. I decided to set up my camp in the same place where it was 2 years ago. Despite having a small strategic reserve, my main task on this island is to find food and water using only natural resources. To survive on this completely uninhabited island until the ship comes to pick me up. I'll put on my shoes, friends, because it's dangerous to walk barefoot here. There's a lot of trash. Well, last time this place was my base. This time it will also serve as my shelter. I will set up my camp here, but first, I need to clean up all this trash. This time, I won't be lazy and will pay more attention to it, because the camp should be cozy. Let's get to work. I'll clean up and prepare this place, and then I'll bring the rest of the things here. That's better. Much more comfortable and cozy. I'll collect the trash in a bag, and either burn it at night or take it with me on the ship when I leave. At least I cleaned up a little on this shore, but there's so much trash here, friends. I don't think my ship would be enough to take it all, but at least I did something. The island hasn't changed. Neither has my hammock. Laleka, greetings and thanks. This very compact hammock has been with me since day one of my adventures, and it has withstood all these trials. The only thing it couldn't withstand was the sharp teeth of my beloved dog, but that's a different story. Great, the hammock is set up. I'll also hang a tarp over it. We're in the rainy season. I need to hide the firewood myself and the equipment, so let's move on to the next stage. I've been waiting for the moment to unpack this package for a while. A fresh new tarp to go with my hammock in the same color. I think this will be the perfect setup. Is everything ready? I need to hurry. It's starting to rain. And I need to hide my things, equipment, and myself. And most importantly, prepare dry firewood before the downpour starts. This is a very good find. Coconut husk. It's very easy to make a fire with it. So I need to collect more and put it under the tarp to keep it dry. Friends, I barely made it. The rain started. And it's good that I set up the tarp. Now I'm collecting firewood so that there is dry firewood under the tarp. I lay in the hammock and waited for the rain to stop. Flocks of white cockatoos flew overhead. They flew right above me, making different sounds, and sometimes it seemed like they were just laughing at me. Well, enough resting. It's time to catch some prey. First, I'll set up a fishing rod so it's ready immediately, because sometimes the fish get active. Somewhere along the shore, there might be a small shark or some other fish, so the rod is ready. I threw the bait right away, and there might be a bite. I'll also prepare a spear and a spear gun for underwater hunting. So I've set up my camp. Later I'll expand a bit and make a kitchen, but while there's still sunlight, time flies very quickly. I don't want to waste it. I'll set up a light fishing rod, so it's in standby mode, in case of any fish activity. As a light rod, I'm using a 2.4 meter long rod, with a test up to 40 grams and a 4,000 size reel. This rod can be used here for catching small fish in the coral reef, and also for catching squid, but you know me. I don't like to get distracted by small things. I'm planning to go all in, and this rod will be just in case. A turtle is swimming. I saw it underwater. Now it's diving there, catching fish. Or maybe it decided to say hello to me. Friends, this time I brought a lot of interesting things for you. So this season will be interesting for both fishermen and spinners, as well as for divers who enjoy underwater hunting with a crossbow. Also primitive hunting with a spear, bushcraft, traps, and also hunting with a slingshot, and of course, culinary elements. So I think this season will not only be enjoyable for you, but for your whole family. Sit back and enjoy watching. Take a look. The tide is already receding. The sun is slowly setting over the horizon, so I won't waste time. I'll set up my heavy setup, that is, the rod for big fish. Let's bet on the big ones. I don't want to waste time catching some small fish. I will persist. Maybe I'll catch either a shark or a GT again. I use a powerful setup for catching sea monsters. For this I use a rod that is 2 meters 52 centimeters long. With a lure test up to 120 grams, this rod is a one-piece. I install a 10-000 size sea reel on it. It is additionally protected from seawater entering the mechanisms. A line with a breaking load of 120 pounds is wound onto the reel, and a shock leader with a breaking load of 180 pounds is tied to it. As lures, I use poppers, as well as floating and slow-sinking swim baits weighing from 40 to 100 grams. So, let's launch this beauty. A handmade popper. I call it Gerasim. It's very simple. It was given to me by my close friend Gera from the city of Cherkasy. Thank you very much. I promise that. It's a good, very cool gift for me to remember. And I hope that today or tomorrow I will be able to catch a worthy trophy on it. Well, don't let me down. It splashes well. Friends, did you see that? A shark wanted to attack my lure. Phew, I got goosebumps. Just like in horror movies. The fin rises, cuts through the water. It accelerates, and literally just a little bit was missing to attack my lure. Wow. It's not for nothing that I call this island the Island of Sharks. Where are you? Damn, that's something. I have goosebumps, friends, just like this. So emotional. I really hope you saw it. How fast it is. It was big. I think it might even be bigger than what I caught last time. Friends, you should have seen my face at that moment when a shark swam up to my lure. My eyes almost popped out. In any case, I knew the most important thing, that there is still a shark on the Island of Sharks. The shark was exactly in the same place where I caught it 2 years ago, but this fish seemed a bit bigger in size. Maybe it was the same shark, and in 2 years, it has grown a bit. What do you think, friends? Could it be or not? Write me your answer in the comments under the video. It would be very cool to catch it again. I still managed to catch a fish, but something strange happened with the video. I will try to figure it out and definitely show you the moment of catching this fish. During the bite, I first thought it was a barracuda because the fish darted to the side very quickly. But then I saw a sharp protruding dorsal fin, and I thought it was a GT, but it turned out to be a queenfish. It has very similar tail fins to a GT. The fish was quite large, and it will definitely last me the whole day. I cleaned the fish and prepared it for cooking. Well, it's time to make some beautiful moment, in the same style as I did 2 years ago, and then make a screenshot for the video thumbnail. So friends, let's compare the new thumbnail and the one from 2 years ago. I tried to make them as similar as possible. And which version do you like more? Write in the comments under the video, the old version or the new one. When the sun set behind the horizon, I saw small sparks flying over the bushes again. These were the same small fireflies, but this time there were much fewer of them. And in the sand, I managed to catch some very strange creature. Friends, look what I managed to catch. What kind of creature is this? Who knows? It looks, of course, probably some kind of fish parasite. No? Or is it some kind of shrimp? Strange thing, I'm afraid to put it on my hand. It might bite. Look, what is it? Who knows? Write me in the comments. Watch how this thing quickly buries itself in the sand. Watch, whoosh! Wait. It's gone and disappeared. I lit a fire and cooked the fish I caught. Fin. It's very tasty. Fresh, delicious fish. I ate well and lay down in the hammock to rest. The road was long and I was very tired. And tomorrow is a new day and new adventures await me. Friends, this was just the first episode of survival on this island. I highly recommend watching my videos in full seasons, using playlists for each individual island. I also want to say a big thank you to the viewers who became sponsors of my channel. A small button has appeared on the channel, with which any viewer can become a sponsor and support the development of the channel. You can also support my channel with donations, the link to which I will leave in the description under the video, but this is not necessary at all. It's up to you. Thank you. Well friends, see you in the morning. Good night to everyone. Friends, if you are glad that I returned to Shark Island and you liked this episode, only in this case, give it a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends and be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the continuation. As soon as this episode gets 15,000 likes, I will immediately publish the continuation from this island. Bye everyone. and this is my second day of survival on a completely uninhabited island, which I previously named Shark Island. Since early morning, there was a light drizzle, so I decided to seize the moment and collect some fresh water. For this, I used a plastic bottle that I attached to the rope from my tent. Rainwater that falls on the tent will run down into the bottle. This way, during the rain, I can replenish my fresh water supplies. I have neither the time nor the desire to just sit under the tent and wait for the rain to end. And since I will get wet anyway, I better take my spearfishing gear, my wooden crossbow, and dive underwater. I'll try to catch some food. I started my underwater hunt near the mangrove bushes. I wanted to see if any fish were hiding in the roots. Right away, I noticed a small school of tiny fish. And behind it, I saw a school of larger fish. This is the so-called mullet. It looks very similar to our mullet. I took aim and fired. But the fish was faster. At the bottom, I saw a sea snake. I looked at it closely, and as I understood, it was a black-banded sea crate, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. I won't disturb it and will swim further. Near a small coral reef, I saw a school of fish. I dived and tried to be as still as possible, to wait for the fish to swim out of the coral reef, to aim and catch the prey. I was swimming with the crossbow near the rock. An enormous GT swam out in front of me. I immediately reached for the camera to start recording. But instead of starting the recording, I stopped the camera. It was very frustrating, and this actually happens very often. During filming, you get confused about what mode you are currently in. Whether the camera is already on, or it is still in standby mode. So it turned out that when the fish swam out, I stopped the camera. When I shot, I turned the camera back on. Unfortunately, it was all the other way around. The same thing happened with the fish caught on the spinning rod, but I found that moment, and the moment of catching the fish I will definitely show you today. But not losing hope, I continued my underwater hunt. I swam further with some anxiety. I had a feeling as if someone was watching me. Periodically during the underwater hunt, I looked back, and suddenly I feel someone tugging on my rope. Frightened, I looked back sharply. But my buoy had just caught on a rock. I unhooked it and swam further. And suddenly I see it, and I realize my intuition did not fail me. An enormous shark swam right out in front of me. It looked at me and at some point started approaching me. It swam nearby and carefully examined me. Most likely when I shot at the GT, it heard the commotion of the fish and immediately swam to this sound. That's why when I catch fish during underwater hunting, I attach my catch to a safety buoy and keep it at a distance from myself so as not to provoke a shark attack. Look, a turtle. Alright, despite my spearfishing gear, I am already cold. I will get out to the shore. Friends, I will share my emotions right away. While I am still thrilled, underwater, I saw a turtle. I hope it is clearly visible on the footage. I also saw a small shark. Then I swam out of this bay. And at the corner, right there, at the corner. And you know, I had the feeling that I needed to swim under the rock. Because in such places, GT often swim. And what do you think? I swim there and a bluefin swims out. I immediately got a fountain of emotions. I got nervous, aimed. I see, and it doesn't swim away. Turns around towards me. I had a flashback from Coconut Bay in front of my eyes. When a GT swam out in front of me, I pressed the shot and accidentally pressed the line with my hand, and the harpoon didn't reach the fish. It was very frustrating. I thought, well, this is the moment. I must not miss it. The fish turns, starts swimming towards me. I carefully reach for the camera with my finger, press the record button, and realize that at that moment I am turning off the camera. So instead of starting the recording and making a shot, I press the button, make a shot, and at that moment, the camera turns off, not on. Because I was filming at that moment, I was already filming. Words cannot express how frustrating it is. This is my personal mistake. I just forgot that I was already filming on the camera. And at the moment when I wanted to film for you, it turned out that I stopped the camera instead. So what happened off camera? I hit the fish accelerates rapidly, pulls my spear gun and breaks free. I got distracted by the camera, by the fact that I was turning it off. And at that moment, I fire, hitting the side of the GT. During the struggle, it breaks free. I hope the fish survives and everything will be fine. Because GT is a fighter, and even serious injuries are not a problem for it. Look. A flock of cockatoos is flying with such white crests. Parrots, they are probably laughing at me for losing such a big fish. In general, it was very upsetting because I thought the start of survival and such a trophy, but not everything at once, most likely. Can I tell you? In general, I realized that not everything at once, the fish got away, and I forgot to mention another moment. First a small one. First, I shoot a fish. I see a small shark that came for the commotion. Then I try to catch a big GT. It was a bluefin. It got away, broke free. And after that, a big shark swims out near me. And it was a reef, but a white-tip shark. It has such a white spot on the top of its fin. I caught a black tip here. It had a black fin. And this one is a white tip. Its muzzle, it seemed to me, was a bit sharper. The shark was big, no less than the one I caught. And it was clearly interested in me. Who I am, why I am in its territory. It swam up to me. I clicked. I don't know. And I didn't hear the sound of the recording. And the shark just swam like this near me. Swam. I held the spear gun, kind of like no to her. Or from here. In general, it swam away. In general, I saw something underwater. It's not for nothing that this is Shark Island. At least some sharks are present. Maybe I can catch one more. I was supposed to return to Shark Island about a year ago. I bought tickets, and 2 days before the flight, the war in Ukraine started. So all the plans went down the drain. Life changed. I think for many as well. Right to the point. I will say that every month, several times, from my personal income, I send donations to support people affected in Ukraine during the war. I gathered my thoughts, packed my things, and decided to return to Shark Island. I wrote to the locals in the region, asked about the weather there. They told me rains, heavy rains, and in general, I thought nothing terrible. We are going anyway. Yesterday I spent the night. I saw that the rains do not stop, but still, I decided not to retreat. I got on the ship, and after 3 hours, I am here. Friends, literally, in 2 hours of rain, I managed to collect almost a liter of water, probably, fresh and quite clean. There is some kind of bark. But for this, I have a special filter. In survival conditions, a very useful thing. It seems that this model is the only one that, in my opinion, passed special super smart studies in some super smart university. And it can be used to drink water directly from the river, almost from a puddle. It kills 99.9% of bacteria. But anyway, I wouldn't rely heavily on this filter. I don't know why, but I still have some distrust. And I'd rather boil this water. Then I'll be 100% sure that this fresh rainwater can be drunk. The filter just inserts into the bottle and you drink like through a straw. At first it doesn't drink, you need to pump it and then the water goes. There are pros and cons. During the rain, it's very difficult to make a fire, but it's easy to replenish the source of fresh water. And also, under the weight of the water, this corner of the tent gets more taut and the water runs off, right here along the string into my bottle. And most importantly, I have dry firewood for the night. This is how my camp looks like. Or rather, part of it. I would say, this is what this filter looks like. From this side, it sucks in. And on this side, the water collects. It passes through the filter and can be drunk. I will not show the brand. This is not an advertisement. And I don't want to take responsibility. What if it's not as reliable as it claims? I gathered fresh water and noticed that the tide had already started to go out. I took my spinning rod and went to the fishing spot. This time I decided to fish in a slightly different place. I climbed onto the rocks and looked for a spot on the shallows where I could get as close as possible to the edge in the deep water, so that I could start my fishing from that spot. I went down and began fishing in the new place. I cast after cast. I fished the entire perimeter and periodically looked at the sky because a storm was approaching. As I already mentioned, episode 1 of Shark Island 2 was a remake of the first episode of Shark Island 1. That is, I tried to make the episode as similar as possible, just like I did back then. At the end of the video, I did a small test for my audience. I showed the caught fish, but didn't show the moment it was caught, and thereby gave the audience the opportunity to write their versions, what really happened there. But just like last time, I will show the moment the fish was caught. A strong wind is rising. The water immediately turned black. The sky was covered with clouds. I'm sure another storm is coming. There will be heavy rain. This is immediately felt by the cold, strong wind, and it's blowing from that direction. And usually the rains come from that island. Look over that island. It's just a disaster. It's closed off. There's probably heavy rain there too. In general, I got very distracted by the gas clouds and completely forgot that I hadn't turned off the camera, and suddenly I got a bite. Immediately after that, I made a big mistake. I reached for the camera and instead of starting to record, I turned it off. I was sure the camera was recording. It was a long and emotional fight, and when I finally pulled the fish ashore, I pressed the button on the camera again to stop the video. I took the camera off my head and noticed something very strange. My camera was still recording. And then I noticed that the camera showed 7 seconds of recording. And at that moment, you could see the disappointment on my face. Phew. I'm already tired of complaining. I don't know. It was just such a fight. I was filming, I was sharing emotions, I was shouting, because it wasn't clear what kind of fish it was. It just wouldn't stop. It went on and on and on. I pressed record. I heard the camera beep. The recording started. But when I sat on the fish, I press stop, and I hear it start recording again. I look, and there's no previous moment of me pulling the fish, of it biting. That moment is not there. And such moments are just priceless for me. It's very upsetting. Very, very upsetting. Why? Anyway, friends, it was a queenfish that bit. The lure slipped from its mouth and hooked it on the side. I think many of you who are fishermen have once caught a foul-hooked fish. And it's so difficult to pull it in, it's just insane. Very difficult. So friends, I pulled it for a very long time. I was sure it was some kind of shark or GT. I saw the sharp tail right away. I said GT because it has the same tail. But when it came out of the coral reef, I started fighting it, pulling it in. I saw the fish was hooked in the middle. And I know if the fish is foul hooked, it's 3 times harder to pull it in. I finally pulled out such a queenfish. I was happy, glad, pressed stop, and the moment wasn't recorded. So I'm not very happy now. Upset, but at least there's food. I have no words. I resisted it so much, fought it so much, it bit so beautifully. I filmed it all. Should have filmed it. I heard the recording start. Everything seemed to be going according to plan. Such a fish. What is it called correctly? In general, it's a queenfish. Well, one of the types of queenfish. Does it seem like the video is a bit dim? Such a handmade lure. My friend Gerasim gave it to me. And it didn't fail. Brought me such a trophy. Look. What a beautiful queenfish. Right. In short, if you measure from the head to the farthest fin, it's 82 centimeters. I don't know. Maybe you should measure here. But I will measure by the farthest points. These are my measurements. I measure as I want, for my memory, so I can compare later. Don't be offended. This is just in case it slips away, because I forgot to take my knife with me. And it might wake up now, jump around and swim away. It would be doubly disappointing. So, shall we continue? Maybe I'll break some new record, catch something big. I continued my fishing, but when I saw rain clouds approaching, I decided to take my catch and head back to camp. The fish is big, very big. I definitely won't finish it in one go. You know what I'll do with it? I'll clean it, salt it well, and tomorrow morning I'll cook it, because without salt, it will spoil overnight. So, I'll have to salt it a bit. I think it'll last through the night, and tomorrow morning or afternoon, I'll cook this trophy. I think it weighs about 4 or 5 kilograms. Well, it's time to head home. And by the way, this fish, just like mahi-mahi, has no scales. It has tough skin, which is somewhat similar to canvas material, but with thin little bones. A kind of sturdy armor, so even when freshly caught fish dies, it stiffens within 15 minutes and becomes like a piece of plywood. That's why some spectators might have mistakenly thought the fish was frozen. I hope now some skeptics' doubts will be dispelled. Right there on the shore, I cleaned the caught fish. It had roe inside. I left the roe too. Then I'll fry it and eat it, since I decided to cook this fish tomorrow morning to show it to you nicely in the sunny weather. My main task was to preserve this fish until morning. And without a refrigerator, it will be difficult. So first I need to remove all the elements that spoil on the fish first. Namely, the insides, gill covers, and all blood elements. They are the first to spoil in fish. If removed, the fish can be preserved much longer. Plus, I have a little salt left. I'll salt the fish a bit now and hide it. It won't spoil until morning for sure. Okay, I'll salt it, pack it, and cook it tomorrow. It's good that I hid some dry wood under the tarp. I made a fire, warmed up a bit after fishing, and lay down in the hammock to rest. The fire burned out and I fell asleep. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning without an alarm, and first I started preparing the fish. First, I'll need a large stone grill. And now I need to gather more dry wood. To cook a large fish, I'll need a lot of charcoal. But first, I need to make a fire. I'll gather some dry grass and dry leaves. I lay this in the middle, and on top of the leaves, I lay out dry twigs. First, small ones, then larger twigs. Now I need to find a sharp stone, with which I can strike a spark and make fire. Friends, look what I found. Some treasure. Probably a plastic coin from some game machine. Here it says Republic of Play Money. And here, Central Bank of Play Money. Funny, I should dig around. Maybe there's something else lying around. Friends, look what I found. It's gold. Fool's gold. Friends, you shouldn't randomly find this in your pocket. I found this not gold. It's also called fool's gold. Actually, it's pyrite or iron sulfide. That's the mineral, which I brought with me to the island. It was given to me by the person who taught me various fire-making techniques. It looks simply amazing, and with its help, I'll try to make fire. I'll take some palm bark. It will serve as tinder. And with a steel plate, I'll try to strike a spark. From this pyrite, the spark needs to land on the tinder. And when the tinder catches fire, I'll transfer it into a dry coconut husk and gradually blow on the ember. When the ember catches fire, I'll transfer it into dry grass, and now I'll try to make fire. The fire lit up. I added more dry wood. I'll need a lot of charcoal to cook the large fish. Friends, I highly recommend watching my videos by playlists. There's a separate playlist for each island. Watch all the episodes in order, from beginning to end, and also subscribe to my Instagram, where very soon I'll be giving away various artifacts from my videos. Until morning, the fish stayed perfectly preserved. I approached the water to rinse off the excess salt. Meanwhile, the fire burned down, forming good coals. On top, I placed a couple of branches so that the fish wouldn't directly touch the coals. I took the fish and placed it on the stone grill. It was a worthy catch. A nice big piece of meat. It will definitely last me the whole day and maybe even until tomorrow morning. And in half an hour my fish was ready. I'll try to keep the fish on the coals a little longer, so it can lie in the smoke for a bit. The more I can smoke this fish, the longer I can preserve it. It's been well salted. I rinsed off some excess salt. The meat absorbed just enough, as much as it needed. And the more I can smoke this meat, the longer it can be preserved without a refrigerator. I hope to eat half of it today, and I'll eat the other half of the fish tomorrow. Some pieces are not quite cooked yet, but overall, the fish was very juicy and tender. Quite fatty and moderately salty. I was very happy that luck was on my side yesterday, and I hope it will continue to smile upon me. Friends, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss new episodes. Share this video with your friends. And as soon as this episode gets 15,000 likes, I will immediately publish the continuation from this uninhabited island. This is just the beginning, and believe me, I'll have even more surprises for you next time. Goodbye, everyone. And this is my third day of survival on this island. Friends, it is finally time to unpack the new package from AliExpress. I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Last time, when I was on Shark Island, many of you wrote to me, "Jeka, why don't you take a solar panel to charge your equipment?" Finally, I took one. Let's see what kind of panel I got. I won't say that this is a super cool model. In general, I ordered what I could. It arrived. Let's look and unpack. This is what a solar panel with 4 elements looks like. I pointed it toward the sun, and I can already see that the red indicator is lit up. This means that the solar panel should be working. Let's try to charge my action camera using this thing. So far, the battery charging indicator is not lit up. Let's flip it over. Oh, it works. Friends, it works. Honestly, I didn't believe it. To be honest, I was very skeptical about this thing. I thought that the energy flow would be very small, and that it would not be enough. But as you can see, look, it is connected to the solar battery. It's quite small. How long it will take to charge, I don't know. Let's check out of curiosity. The battery is completely dead. I will leave it in the sun, let it charge, and periodically I will check. It is very interesting to see how long one such solar battery will take to charge a GoPro battery. Perhaps this thing will become a staple in my arsenal, because I probably have about 5 kilograms of power banks with me, just in case. Well, let's leave it here. Let it charge. Smoked, fried, excellent. In the last episode, I managed to catch a fairly large fish, after which I cooked it over a campfire and smoked it well in the smoke. I need to have a good meal to have energy for the whole day. I still have about 2 kilograms of fish left, probably even more. This fish will definitely last me the whole day, and I'm even sure it will last until tomorrow morning. The weather began to change. The sun was covered with clouds, and I didn't want to just sit around doing nothing. I took my fishing rod and went to the fishing spot to try to catch a shark. I fished for a very short time. The weather started to worsen, so I decided to return to camp. First, I will take the equipment for spearfishing. I will go underwater. I will try to catch a small fish, cut it up and set traps underwater. This will be a passive source of food on this island. I hope the traps will work. I will hide the camera underwater to see how it works, and in parallel, while the traps are gathering prey, I hope I will be doing spearfishing, fishing, and bushcraft elements. In other words, I will be surviving on this island and catching my food. I loaded my crossbow and dived underwater. This time I will use only 2 rubber bands. They will be enough to catch a small fish. Underwater, I found large stones, near which there was a large school of fish. I descended to the bottom and tried to be as still as possible. I waited for the moment when the fish would swim a little closer, to the shooting distance, and aimed at the larger fish. I chose a convenient moment, shortened the distance, and took an accurate shot. I managed to catch a fairly large fish. It was a parrotfish. It lives in the coral reef, and thanks to its powerful beak, it feeds on vegetation that grows on the coral reef, as well as small mollusks and crustaceans. I caught the fish right where I previously saw a large shark, so I continued spearfishing very carefully, and periodically looked around. I understood that I was in someone else's territory. The first fish is caught. That's good. It will be for the traps. I need to catch some food for myself just in case, too. I leave the fish on the buoy because there are sharks here. I don't want to have it on my belt or in my hands. The shark began to take my catch away and thereby could injure me. So all the catch will be stored on the buoy. While I was spearfishing, a rather heavy rain started. I hope during this time I'll manage to collect some fresh water. I found another promising spot in the coral reef, held my breath and dove to the bottom, scouted for bigger fish, but I didn't expect this at all. Suddenly, a giant reef shark swam towards me, swam right up to me. In fact, I was very scared. It seemed like it reminded me once again that I was on foreign territory. This is already the third time I've encountered a shark. No wonder I named this island Shark Island. If you were in my place and suddenly met a shark underwater like this, what would your reaction be? Describe it in 3 words and write your answer in the comments under the video. I didn't see where the shark swam away. I understood that it was staying somewhere nearby. And continuing to spearfish was very uncomfortable. I wonder if I'll manage to catch a shark on this island this time. I made a few more shots and decided to return to shore. Well, let me share some emotions. When I speared the fish right away, as soon as I speared this fish, a small shark appeared immediately nearby. It feels when a small fish or an injured fish starts to panic underwater. Immediately a shark swims up. Notice, a pilotfish swims in front of the shark, which acts as the shark's cleaner. And also, on the left side, there's a remora attached. The lives of these fish are closely connected to the life of the shark. I caught one fish, a fairly decent size. To cook and eat, it would be enough for a good meal. But I decided to raise the stakes and use this fish as bait. I want to set traps underwater for the night, and we'll see tomorrow morning. I'll cut up this fish and put it in the traps, and I'll set the traps near the big rocks, near the coral reef, and tomorrow morning we'll see what got in there. Maybe this passive method, if you can call it that. In general, I'll be getting additional catch. So far, we only have bait. Let's go. You've already seen these traps, new from AliExpress. But I like these much more than the umbrella trap. Look, hop, and that's it. Just like that. A whole fish trap is ready. And what I like more here, it folds and unfolds very simply. There are no complicated mechanisms that rust and then just stop working. But just like that, and it's a trap. And also, the shape is more familiar. At least my grandfather had exactly the same trap. We caught crucians. And what else I like? The umbrella trap is made of such a fine green netting, which tears very quickly and easily. But here, it's some kind of nylon netting, a bit bigger and more reliable, definitely stronger. Plus, because the mesh is bigger here, the current doesn't carry this trap away as it would an umbrella trap. In general, I like it. One trap. And here's the second trap. So, it started raining again, taking the opportunity to collect fresh water. And in any case, rain is good. Because after spearfishing in the ocean, the whole body is in salt water. The hair too. And when you're on the island for a long time, without a shower, without a bath, even rinsing off in such rain, you feel much fresher and much lighter. So I'm enjoying it, and also using rainwater wisely. Let's go collect some water. It started raining again, so Taking the opportunity, I'm replenishing my freshwater supplies. To collect a liter of fresh water during a heavy rain, 30-40 minutes is enough. A good piece of meat. I hope the fish or lobsters appreciate it. Damn such steaks. I'd love to grill them myself, but since I've already got the idea of the traps, we'll use the trap. Maybe I'll catch a crab. And this part I'll cut up for the second trap. I cut the fish into pieces. Half went into one trap, and the other half into the second trap. What happened with the solar panel experiment to charge my batteries? 2 hours later, I came to check the battery. It was still charging. Then it started to rain, and I had to hide the solar panel. When the rain stopped, I placed the charger back in the sun and continued charging the battery. Then I went about my business, fishing, getting my food, and completely forgot about the solar panel. When I returned, it was no longer there. It was floating 10 meters from the shore. The tide had come in and the ocean had stolen my charger. So the conclusion is, the GoPro battery no longer works due to a short circuit. The charging block works. The solar panels still work. But as my experience showed, it charges very slowly. I took a mask and snorkel, also a spear gun, and went underwater to find an interesting place to set traps. I looked for spots near the rocks and also large stones, hoping that the scent of fish in the trap would attract lobsters or crabs. Not far from the coral reef, I saw these stones and decided to set one trap here. I know that both fishermen and underwater hunters often watch my videos, but what do you personally prefer, spinning fishing or underwater hunting? Write your answer in the comments under the video. Let's see who makes up more of my viewers, divers or fishermen. To prevent the trap from being carried away by the tide and waves, I loaded with stones. Nearby, I saw a sea cucumber. Cut it with a knife and put it inside. This will be additional bait. One trap is set, I swim further. I decided to set the second trap right in the coral reef. There are many different types of coral inhabitants here, a completely different ecosystem. Also, I set up a camera next to the trap, so that you can see what happens to the trap during this time. It looks like a large aquarium. Tomorrow morning, I'll take a mask and snorkel and go underwater. I'll check what managed to get caught in the trap. And you, be sure to write your predictions in the comments under the video, whether something was caught in the traps or not. On the way back, at the bottom, I noticed a T-shaped oyster. Not far from it, another similar oyster. When I was first on this island, I already prepared them. They are very tasty. So I will take these with me. I also noticed that oysters grow on the roots of mangrove bushes, but of a different kind. I'll take note of this. I set the traps. and when I got ashore, the sun was already slowly setting over the horizon. A light rain occasionally drizzled, and I was still eating the cooked fish. Very tasty fish. While I was engaged in underwater hunting, during the rain, I managed to collect another bottle of fresh water. And using my camping filter, I can drink this water straight from the bottle, without even boiling it. But I don't recommend you do this. I want to send a big hello and thank you to the sponsors of my channel. For this, there is a special button on the main page, which gives you privileges and small bonuses from me, and I will personally send a big hello to each sponsor in my video. Well, friends, while it's still light, I want to start a fire. I have a piece of iron like this. Using it, I will start the fire. First, I need to find some hard mineral, that is, a stone that can strike a spark from this iron. Secondly, I need tinder, which can catch fire from the spark of this iron and stone. And thirdly, something that ignites quickly, but I already have coconut husk, so only the first and second are left. Let's go. This one is not bad. The stone needs to be broken into fragments to get the sharpest piece possible. Friends, let's see if we can get 15,000 likes on this video. I will try to catch a shark. I am sure this will be very easy for you. This red stone is better. I will break off a piece so that it has sharp edges. Then it will be much easier to strike a spark. As tinder, I will use this bracket fungus. If it is not damp, it should work. The top usually gets wet, but inside it stays soft and dry. And most importantly, it should ignite from a small spark. Let's try it. Seems dry. Using the file on my knife, I will cut a piece of coconut husk. And now it needs to be fluffed up a bit. I will make a small grill out of stones. This is where I will cook my food. I will crush dry grass in my hands and place it in the middle. I will also take some dry firewood, which I previously hid from the rain under my tarp. Now I need to cut a small but most importantly, dry piece of tinder fungus. The piece should be thin, and most importantly, dry, so that the slightest spark that lands on this fungus can ignite. Now I place this piece on top of the stone. And now using a steel plate, I will try to strike a spark on this tinder. The spark immediately started to flare up. I transfer it to dry coconut husk, and it ignites very quickly. Now I transfer the coconut husk to dry grass and blow on the fire. We have a fire. With the help of a stone, a piece of steel, and tinder fungus from a tree. Even in rainy weather, you can make a fire. The main thing is to know how to do it. The tinder fungus, despite being in the rain, is dry inside. And these fibers ignite very easily even from the smallest spark I struck from the stone. Let's cook some oysters. This is what an oyster looks like. One and another. And also a small mollusk. Managed to catch it. I put it on top. Let it roast. While the oysters are baking, I will take a spear and walk along the shallows. With a spear, it might be possible to catch some additional prey, and I will cook it right here on the fire. The main thing is to periodically come and add firewood, so that the fire doesn't go out. Look, fish are gathering here in the light. There was even a bigger one just now. Hey, come here. Damn, some plastic is floating. I thought it was a big fish. Quick ones. There's a crate here, friends. I could catch it. I've been wanting to make snake soup for a long time. But it's a hassle. Doing this with flashlights before bed at night. First of all, I want to do it somewhat safely. Secondly, thoroughly and properly. And thirdly, so that it can be seen well. So I'll leave the snake soup for some other day, not for the night. This is just a joke. I'm aiming. And it's a piece of leaf that looked like a fish. In just 10 minutes, the oysters were ready. So I will take out the oysters. Look how it opened. Can you see? Well, there's not much meat here, I'll say that. But the meat is very tasty. The meat is sweet, delicious. Tomorrow I will go into the mangrove bushes. I'll collect oysters that grow on the mangrove bushes. Here's another one. Oops. I've already had a snack, feeling better, but I still need to catch something else, of course. I ended up on the island during a full moon. This is not very good for fishing, but it was very beautiful. And even when I didn't use a flashlight, it was light enough at night. What's this resident of mine roaming around at night? Won't let me sleep. I wonder who is crawling around the hammock. Can't sleep. And here scratching is this beautiful one, a hermit crab. Go to sleep, don't bother. It's time to go to sleep. And tomorrow morning, I'll try to catch something bigger. Got it, got it. Big one, this is a big one. Very big fish, very big fish. Thank you friends for watching. If you liked this video, only in that case, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the continuation, because the next episode will be very interesting. As soon as this video gets 15,000 likes, I will immediately publish the continuation. Bye everyone. Hello everyone, my friends. And this is my 4th day of survival on this island. On the first day when I arrived on this island, while fishing, a large shark suddenly approached my bait, but it didn't want to bite and swam away. The next day during spearfishing, I encountered another shark, and this shark was much bigger. On the third day, again during spearfishing, another shark suddenly swam very close to me, and once again reminded me that I was in its territory. More than 2 years ago when I was on this island, I managed to catch a shark. That's why I call this island Shark Island. In survival conditions, it's very important to maintain not only morale, but also physical condition. So almost every day, I try to find some time to do exercises or light physical activities. This helps improve blood circulation, increase endurance, and maintain muscle tone. And in the background of this video, motivational music from the movie Rocky Balboa is playing somewhere. In other words, I was ready for the next encounter with a shark. I want to congratulate all of you on the holiday today. The weather in the tropics is as changeable as usual. It's scorching sun 1 minute, and 10 minutes later, everything is covered with clouds and a heavy tropical rain starts. So, I haven't been bored on the island. I hope this rain won't last long, because I plan to fish in the evening. But the sky is densely overcast. My cap keeps twisting left and right because of the moisture. Look, I'm hungry. The fish, when it cools down, has a smoky smell. My favorite part, these were the last pieces of queenfish. After that, the meat spoiled. And the small part of the remaining fish had to be thrown to the crabs. I'm still hunting for prey, because I need something to eat. I'm already hungry. Well, in the evening, I take the spinning rod and go to the promising spots, hoping to catch some big trophy. I took a spear, a mask, and a snorkel, as well as gear for spearfishing, and went underwater to find my traps that I set yesterday. I found the first trap. Let's see, did I manage to catch something? Underwater there were a lot of small fish, and of course I didn't miss the opportunity to try to catch them. I immediately noticed that the trap had shifted significantly to the side, and when I swam closer and took it in my hands, I saw that it was very damaged. On one side, it looked like someone had cut it with a sharp knife or teeth. I folded the first trap and swam to find the second one. And here is the second trap. When I swam to it, I immediately saw that I had managed to catch a small black coral fish in the second trap. I was glad that the trap worked, but of course I was disappointed that no lobsters got inside. The fish was very small, so I will release it. In any case, I was pleased with the result. The trap worked, even though the catch inside was very modest. I folded the second trap and swam to the shore. I need to warm up. So, friends, one trap was torn apart by someone, probably a shark, because firstly, it was completely torn apart, and very severely. Secondly, there is a dense, very dense nylon thread that a crab or a small fish couldn't tear. And thirdly, the trap had shifted significantly from its place, even though there were many stones inside, so there was no storm at night. The second trap remained in its place as it was, but this one was clearly battered by someone, probably a shark tearing the meat through the net. In general, one trap didn't survive, and so I still have an hour before fishing. The sun is slowly setting, and what I thought, there is still a lot of water there. I won't go around it. Most likely, I will go through this cut, through which I made my way during the storm. But there's such grass. There are definitely many snakes there. So I need to come up with some leg protection. At least some, because I am here alone. There's no one to save me. It also charges the battery. It's been about an hour and a half. In general, to make snake protection, I will need a knife and 2 plastic bottles. We search for trash, and there's plenty of it here. So I think it won't take long to find. Over there I already see bottles lying around. One. We need a bigger one. Oh, wow. There's a whole stash here. I'll take this cleaner one. And the second one. 2 bottles will be enough. To make snakebite protection, it's very simple. You need to cut the neck off the bottles. I collect all the trash and take it with me. Cut the bottom part too. Now cut the bottle in half. Rather, cut it on one side and leave the other side intact. Do the same with the second bottle. And now the bottom part, well, now the legs are covered up to the knee. Next, I'll show you how it works, and how to fix it on the leg. Let's go. Well, we won't go there. Let's go through the cut. It would be good to have a stick. Someone's already running around. It would be good to have a stick in hand. To tap on the grass. I'll try to watch my step. This way, I've at least minimally protected my legs. In case I accidentally step on a snake, it will turn and bite. Usually it attacks this area, where I have the plastic protection. It's not 100% effective, of course, but it's something. Oh yes, right. Listen, it's much faster this way. Why did I go around those corals? Look. 2 minutes and I'm there. This is much better. Oh, I forgot. I want to set traps here. Look, big burrows. These are probably big crabs. But to set a trap, I need bait. And that is fish meat. I don't want to use fish as bait. So I need to catch something big, eat part of it, and use part as bait for crabs. So, water level, did you forget anything? Let's lower it more. I took off the snake protection because it will float away. I'll put it back on the way back. So what's this? Wow, got it.
Ah! Woo! Ah!
Friends, a shark, no. Music, no, big one. This is a big one, I can't. There's a coral reef there, can't let it go to the coral reef. Can't let it go to the coral reef. Very big fish. Very big fish. What is this? Wow, wow. This fish is bigger. This fish is definitely bigger than the last shark. Oh, damn. Damn, I've tightened the drag to the maximum. Can't let the fish down. It's very shallow here. There's a coral reef here. If I let it down, the fish could catch the line on the coral and cut the line. Big fish, big. It's a shark. It's a shark, friends. It's a shark. Got it. Very big fish. Friends, very big fish. Wow.
Whoa! 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 Wow! Whoa!
Wow, friends. I need to get out somehow. It's very hard to stand here. Wow, 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 big shark. Wow, look at that mouth. Very strong fish. Very strong fish. Very strong fish. Stay, stay, stay. Damn, it's very slippery here. Wow. Damn, friends. Quiet, quiet, quiet. It has polycarbonate in its teeth. Wow. Polycarbonate. It has polycarbonate in its teeth. I don't want it to cut my bait. Quiet, quiet, quiet. It can attack too. Need to hurry because the fish took the bait very deep in its mouth. And I'm worried that I won't be able to release this shark. The bait is very, very deep. Now I need to do it so that the shark doesn't grab my hand. So, one hook is out. Friends, how do I get the second one out? What to do, friends? It swallowed the bait completely. Damn. Very dangerous, very dangerous. You see how quickly it moves its teeth. Very sharp teeth. I want to release you. Please, please, now, now. Now I'll release you. Now. This shark is clearly bigger, friends. This shark is clearly bigger. No. Friends, if you were in my place and managed to catch a shark, what would you do? Just honestly, write me in the comments under the video. Would you take and cook this shark, or would you release it back? Write your option in the comments under the video. I will be very interested to read your opinion. Wow, friends. It's alright. The shark swam away. Shark Island. It's not for nothing called Shark Island. Season opening. The last time I was here, I just came back from my first fishing trip and I caught a shark in the evening. History repeats itself, but this time the fish was bigger. I really hope the shark will be okay. Woo. But I kept the fish in shallow water, observing its behavior. It came to its senses and swam away importantly with its injuries. Whew, oh, I'm exhausted. Wow, friends. Wow. I hope you could see it well. This battle. Oh, my arms are tired. Whew! Let's try to catch something edible. I'll cast a few more times. Maybe a GT will come to eat. I might catch it, because I also want to cook something. So far, I only have 2 large oysters and 1 mollusk. Whew! Oh my! Gerasim Ovetsyan from Cherkasy. Thank you so much, bro, for such a great gift. It was a completely new lure. Look at it, all bitten up. Wow. Look at that. The first fishing trip. I told you the color works. A good color. This will be a memory. I have 2 of them, so I'll probably remove this one and put on an identical but different lure. Let this lure be a memento of catching a big shark. Cool. The waves have risen, and I feel like the camera will be swept away. If I hadn't taken it, it would have been swept away. So friends, I'll be heading back to shore. I don't know why, but it feels like the tide is coming in. Although it should be the opposite. It should be low tide. I was planning to hunt with a flashlight when it gets dark. To hunt with a flashlight and spear. To finally catch something to eat today. Because the food I ate last night or this morning doesn't count. It's all burnt out already. I also want to say a big thank you for your donations supporting my channel. The donation link is in the description under the video. Also, there's a sponsorship button on my channel, and any of my viewers can become a sponsor and support the filming of new episodes. It's not mandatory at all, but of course, I would be very happy. When night came, I made a fire and lay in the hammock to warm up and rest. Today, I am very tired, and I spent a lot of energy throughout the day, but it's worth it. I will never forget this day. Underwater hunting is very exhausting. Plus, while exploring the island, I've walked enough already. Look at my white shirt, friends. Tomorrow I will wash it, because there's already shark blood on it. I miss this island so much, friends. Of course, I could have chosen a new island where I haven't been yet. But I don't know why among all the islands I've been to, where I filmed my adventures, where I filmed survival, the Shark Island is, I don't know, as they say nowadays, cozy. I have the most nostalgia for it. For some reason it touched my heart the most. Although it's not the most fish-rich, not the coolest, but for some reason the atmosphere here is special. Maybe because I caught my first shark here, and those emotions stuck with me. In general, I returned here and repeated this feat, caught an even bigger shark, and it is significantly larger. It seems to me it's almost twice as big as the last one. It's a pity there's no one to film it beautifully in my hands. I didn't want to handle it roughly, and the poor thing already suffered. I thought it wouldn't be able to swim away, and I'd have to cook it. Why didn't I take the fish right away? Friends, first of all, reef sharks should be released if possible. There are other fish you can catch and cook. Secondly, this shark is very big. If I cook it, in a couple of days the meat will already have to be thrown away. And I won't eat it all in 2 days. So friends, why be greedy? Let the big fish swim away. I'm glad it managed to recover and swam away. I'm happy. Tomorrow I'll catch a GT. A big GT. Well, friends, I'll be resting. And if you like this video, only then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss new episodes. Share it with your friends. And as soon as this episode gets 10,000 likes, I'll publish the continuation of survival on a completely uninhabited Shark Island. Bye everyone. Hello friends! Look at this beauty. Friends, I am the only one on this island. You could say it's just an ordinary day of survival on an uninhabited island. But I didn't realize that I would remember this night for the rest of my life. Then I understood that it was something big. I figured it was wild boars, so I decided to let them know that I was here. But I understand that it's not wild boars. And this is my 5th day. Here you don't need an alarm clock. Yes, I hear. I'm getting up, okay? Good morning, friends. Well, let's go. Everything is going according to plan. Trying to catch a GT. So, what kind of weather will we have today? But I hope it won't rain in the morning. On the water, the sky is more or less clear. Well, how clear? This is considered clear. That's better. I took the spinning rod and went to the fishing spot, made a few casts hoping to catch some fish. And when the sun rose and started to warm up, I returned to the camp, took the spear, mask, and snorkel and dived underwater to go hunting. The water was clear today, and the sun was already illuminating the underwater world for me. And suddenly I saw a stingray under a rock. But it also noticed me and disappeared somewhere in the depths. I swam closer to the rocks, hoping to see a GT again there. There was also a lot of small fish underwater. At that moment, I got the idea. Next time, I should bring a casting net to the island and try hunting with it. If you support this idea, write to me about it in the comments under the video. Or give it a like. Hunting fish with a spear during the day is much more beautiful, but at the same time it's harder, because the fish keep their distance, and it's very hard to hit them. I realized I needed to modify the spear and make it longer. For hunting during the day in clear, transparent water. Look, there's some kind of sandfish lying on the bottom. But it turned out to be very fast. And this fish looks a lot like a mangrove jack. It's like a perch that lives in the roots of mangrove bushes. But I couldn't hit it either. While I was hunting for the mangrove perch, I noticed that all the roots of the mangrove bushes were covered with oysters. And then I got an idea. I decided not to waste my energy underwater and wait until the tide goes out and these roots are out of the water to try to collect some oysters. In the meantime, I'll unpack a new package from AliExpress with you. Well, it's time to unpack the new package from AliExpress. I've had it for about a year. I just couldn't find the right moment to take it out. This package is not quite suitable for survival. Or you could say, for survival with comfort. But anyway, I'm sure this thing will be very useful and interesting to most of you. Those who love hiking and similar adventures. So let's unpack it together. Let's see what's inside. Look, friends, this is a camping shower. It's very simple. It's a waterproof bag in which you collect water. You hang it somewhere on a tree. And thanks to the sunlight, the water heats up. You connect this thing here. And you can wash comfortably from mangrove swamp, from sand. If you collect rainwater, fresh, then you can wash off the salt water very nicely after spearfishing. I don't know about you. I don't know about me. But your other half will really like this thing during hikes. I'm sure your wife, sister, or girlfriend will appreciate such an invention. Somewhere in the wild, there is even some kind of thermometer. It shows the water temperature, but I don't know how it works. I don't really believe it will show. Anyway, it's a cool thing. Let's test it. Now I'll go collect some water and hang it somewhere on a tree. It looks very stylish. You need to find a tree somewhere in the sun. So the water warms up a bit. Hang it up and take a shower. So friends, my review. I didn't expect it, but this little thing actually adds a touch of comfort, civilization. And in my conditions, it is always lacking. Even just to wash up, brush your teeth in the best case, not to mention washing off the mangrove swamp or sand or salt water. It's like making a fire in rainy weather. You made a fire, your mood lifted, everything is good. Same here. For example, after salt water, collecting rainwater and washing off with fresh water, your skin will breathe, your body will feel lighter, and it's much nicer to go to sleep in a hammock. So write in the comments, is this thing useful or not? Anyway, I think that you, your girls, will like this invention. It costs a penny. Look for it on the internet. This is not an advertisement. As usual, I just take something, unpack it with you, and we rate it from 1 to 10. Whether this thing is suitable for survival or not. Friends, who knows what this is? Look, an amazing thing. Some kind of mollusk, but it looks like the infinity sign. Like the number 8, look. Like a bagel. A bagel mollusk. An amazing thing. Who knows what it is? I'll take it as a souvenir from Shark Island too. Such a thing. So I have about 40 minutes before sunset. So I decided not to waste time. Took the spear, took the gloves, and went to the mangroves to try to get a couple of oysters for the evening. When I was swimming there with the spear, I saw that there were oysters. Now it's low tide. The water level has dropped and it makes sense to walk on the roots, collect oysters. I spend half an hour on this. I return, take the spinning rod, and through the cut, through the grass, I go to the fishing zone. I will try to catch a piece of meat for myself. By the way, last time I was on this island, people heard the sound of an engine. Wow. Oh, it's a crab. People heard the sound of a boat engine. And everyone had their own versions about it. Although I talked about it and showed it. But not all viewers are attentive. I don't know why, but someone often assumed it was not the sound of a boat. But actually, I had a diesel generator behind the palm tree. And you know, everyone has different versions. It's very cool when people reason, think, plan, tell their theories, versions. It's very interesting. But why a diesel generator? I can't understand this. Why drag a diesel generator to the island? To play Counter-Strike on the computer or what? To charge your devices? Just take a power bank, which is what I do. Why a diesel generator on the island? To put a refrigerator under a palm tree and turn it on? I still don't get it. Friends, when you hear such a sound, it's a boat sailing. So, oysters, where are you? Oh, look how big it is. Oh my, well, okay. Look at this, what a big oyster. And here's another one, and there are many small ones on it. I will put the catch in this net. Let's move on. But you need to... Look, here's another oyster. But you need to watch your step carefully. There are stingrays here. There are many stingrays here. So I don't step on them. There are stingrays here with barbs, which are deadly dangerous. If they sting, the consequences can be bad. Wow, this one... doesn't want to come off. How to get it? Such a good oyster and it's so attached. Okay. Let's move on. Oh, more oysters. This one's done. What about this one? This one is still good. So, more oysters. After fishing, I'll make a fire and cook them. What is this? Look. What's this? Oh. These are also mollusks. I remember an Australian blogger warned me. He said to be careful. Because these are also oysters, but they are like blades, very sharp. If you touch them with your foot, you get cut immediately. Very sharp oysters. There's very little meat in them, so they are not interesting as a food source. Just keep in mind, these ones, they are white here. See the white spots on the roots? These are oysters, but the white ones are already dead. They are very sharp like blades. Okay, I've collected a couple of kilograms of oysters. They are very heavy by themselves. This is enough. Returning to the camp. I take the fishing gear and go fishing, and on the way, I'll take another oyster. Okay. This is enough. So, not much more water. Let's dump the catch here. And let's not waste time. We need to go fishing. Because I'm getting too nice here on the island. But I'm already hungry. While moving around this island, through the overgrown thickets, over sharp coral reefs, every day I get more and more damage, small injuries and abrasions. You can see the red abrasions on my knees. When I caught a shark yesterday, I held it with my legs to take it off the hook, and the shark's skin is very much like sandpaper. My hands were calloused from making the fire, and my fingers were cut from sharp mollusks, and in every such place, salt water would get in, and also dirty wet sand, and the likelihood of catching a tropical infection was very high. And I have encountered this more than once. It was already getting dark and I decided to prepare my lures, and also take a spinning rod for catching big fish, and try my fishing luck tonight. I use a heavy-duty setup for catching sea monsters. And for this, I use a 2.52 meter long rod. With a lure test up to 120 grams, I put a 10000 size saltwater reel on it. It is additionally protected from salt water getting into the mechanisms. The reel is spooled with a line with a breaking strength of 120 pounds, and a shock leader with a breaking strength of 180 pounds is tied to it. As lures, I use poppers, and also floating and slow sinking swim baits weighing from 40 to 100 grams. Now I need to go over there. Friends, a big fish just chased a whole school of fish. This means the predator is active. I am already approaching the edge where the depth drops by 11 meters. So during high tide, it's about 2-3 meters here. And where the drop-off is, it's 13 meters. So the difference is 10 meters immediately. And GT stands under that wall. I hope so. Hope. Well, because a fish was just swimming there. Not just swimming, but a whole school of fish was jumping out. Because something was chasing it. That means a predator is already hungry. I put my favorite lure. I named it Black Mamba. Black Mamba. That's how it looks. It was with this lure that I caught my first shark. And the second one I caught with a lure I named Gerasim, in honor of my friend. Some disgruntled fish came out for the lure. Again. Did you see? Someone is hunting. So, I'll make this retrieve and switch the swim bait to a popper. The one I caught the shark with, because it's very strange. The current has already formed, but the fish isn't showing any activity. Therefore, the popper can additionally provoke it. The fish will be outraged. Why is someone hunting in its territory? And to protect its territory, the popper might be attacked. So I'm changing the lure. Switch to the popper. This one. It's the same color, but a little smaller. At 40 grams. The one I caught the shark with was 60 grams. This one is a bit smaller, for more capricious fish, but it splashes no worse than the other one. Oh, do you hear that sound? Oh, how nice! How well it plays, friends! Oh, this is already over the top. During the strike, it dives and makes a whole tunnel underwater and creates a base. This is it. It's perfect. Oh my. That's it. No fish will remain indifferent to such a lure. Balanced with hooks, just perfectly. This is very important, by the way, too, so that the lure does not jump out, does not sink, so that it splashes perfectly. Creates a base underwater. This sound is very reminiscent of the sound when GT attacks fish at the water's surface. And sharks and other predatory fish come to this sound. Let's bring someone up from the depths, a big monster to cook over the fire today. And even cut off a piece of meat and put it in a crab trap. The sun is already setting behind the horizon. It's getting dark slowly, and I still haven't lost hope of catching my food. I would really like to catch a big fish and cook it over the fire. Let's catch at least a 5-kilogram GT. At least one. Very beautiful. Silence, calmness. Okay, something is taking a very long time here, and it's very suspicious that there is no activity. I've decided to head back through this cut. And I'll go out there to the corner where I caught the shark. I'll cast a bit more from that corner while it's still light and while it's still low tide, because I see that Because I see that the corals are already hiding, that means the tide phase has started. I think I have another half an hour to cast from that side. Maybe some active fish remain there. To get to the other side, I'll go through the grass again. So I'll use snake protection. Putting it back on. Let it be. That way it'll be calmer. Let's go. Wow, damn, look at this beautiful, beautiful mollusk. Oh my, there are holes here. So I'll put the protection somewhere here for now. When I go through the cut, I'll put it on. Let's go. Quickly, 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 quickly. While the sun hasn't set behind the horizon yet, and while the tide hasn't raised the water level. Damn, the waves are already rising. Oops. Damn. Better from this rock. Probably. Friends, squids have appeared. Look. It's attacking my lure. Think about it. Look. Can you see it? It doesn't come closer. Listen, we can come here with a flashlight in the evening and try to catch it. With a spear or a fishing slingshot, shoot the squids, right? Okay, I'm heading back to the camp. I still need to make a fire and cook the oysters. Night has fallen and it's time to make a fire and cook my catch. Look at this straight stick. It can be made into an arrow. I want to make a bow and hunt fish with it. This is a perfect arrow. But for now, I need it for something else. I will try to make a fire with this stick. I have dry grass. I have coconut husk. And I have a small wooden plank. I place the future arrow here and will rotate it until I get fire. It seemed like today was not very eventful. You could say it was just another ordinary day of survival on a deserted island. But I didn't know yet that tonight would be unforgettable. First, I need to smooth out this hole so the stick fits tightly and rotates smoothly inside this wooden piece. Once it's smoothed out, it will have a perfect hole that fits the stick size. Then I need to make a notch to allow oxygen access, and so that the ember collects in this notch, which will create a spark. Actually, it will ignite. Anyway, keep watching. This is what I meant. Look. The stick fits perfectly. And now, here on the side, Here on the side, I need to cut a small notch. Look, the ember will gather here, and the oxygen access will help it ignite. Let's continue. To make the spark ignite, we need a piece of coconut. Now, let's create the spark. Starting from the top, I rotate the stick, heating the hole and slowly moving down and down. The stick is long, so thanks to the long stick, this process can be done longer. We smooth it out without rushing. The wood is heating up. With the help of an arrow, a wooden stick, I managed to make a fire. Now I won't need the flint. Now let's make a fire and cook the oysters. So there's still some water, replenished perfectly. Good. I want to leave some dry grass here under the tent, because it might rain again at night. I want to have dry grass for kindling. And now I use the prepared dry wood to cook the oysters. So I take this and go to the fire. I will leave a little for tomorrow. And the dry grass. You have to think ahead. Everything is dry. Good. No problem. Excellent. First, small twigs. And when they burn, I'll add bigger branches. Let it burn. Come on, burn. The wood is a little damp. But still, the moisture evaporates, and it gradually burns. Everything is fine. The main thing is that it's not seawater. Seawater burns poorly, or rather, it evaporates. When the wood is soaked in seawater, it burns very poorly. And rainwater is not a problem at all. You can even hear a sound like it's boiling. It crackles, shoots, the water boils away, and the wood catches fire. and I noticed that the number of viewers who become sponsors of my YouTube channel is increasing. If you want to support my channel and also become a sponsor, there is a button on the main page of my YouTube channel. I respond to all sponsors' comments first. There is also a donation link in the description under the video to support my YouTube channel. It's not mandatory at all, but it would make me very happy. Okay, I'll prop it up like this. Let it open. The smaller one on the side, and the bigger one on top, and the smallest one, and the smallest one right here. This island is completely uninhabited. There is not a single building here. There are no roads, no sidewalks. There are absolutely no signs of life. On this island, it's just me. Well, that's what I thought until tonight. So, friends, while the oysters are roasting, I decided to take a knife, a spear, and walk to the mangrove forest, to the mangrove bushes, because I saw black crates crawling there at night. This is a sea snake. I saw it underwater. But then I had nothing to catch it with, and now I'm very hungry. I'm not sure if the oysters will be enough, so I decided to take another walk there. Maybe I'll manage to catch a snake. I'll also cook it on the fire. Let's go see. That was a little shark, friends. But a very beautiful fish. I can't bring myself to spear it. I'll catch some crabs and eat them instead. If it were any other fish, I would have already boom and done. But it's a very small shark. On the one hand, it makes sense to catch just such a fish, because it's just the right portion. I would eat it, and there would be some left for the morning, and that's it. And no more meat would go to waste. But when I catch a big one, it's a shame to take it, because 90% of the fish will just spoil without a refrigerator. Small crabs. If I don't catch the snake, I'll go there. Anyway, yes. If I don't catch the snake, I'll go to the rocks and catch more crabs. I've seen a lot of crates here before. Let's go take a look. I can't see anything yet. A piece of a life jacket is lying around. But there is no food here. So, let's try the oysters. I'll start with the smallest one. It was the first to roast. It opened up by itself. I wanted to show you on camera somehow. Oh, come on. Well, I can take the top part, but I can't take the bottom. This piece of meat is roasted inside. Just right. Tasty. Like this. Oh, hot, hot, hot. Look, come on. Here's a more serious piece. A whole cutlet inside. That's the thing. I removed the shards. And it didn't dry out, didn't overcook. Perfect. Look. This is very tasty. Another one. Oh, this one is just perfect. Look, this is just perfect. Look at this beauty, friends. It's just like in restaurants, like in the best restaurants. Look, it didn't dry out, but it curled up a little. And you know, it's half fried, half raw. This is simply a delicacy on the level of a Michelin-starred restaurant. Just like that, just like that. There's even some broth left. And now just take this little thing like this. It's very tasty. These are delicacies. At least I'll get some protein back into my body. How do I open this? I'm abusing the knife as much as I can. And someone still tells me that Victorinox knives are weak. It's over 8 years old. I do everything with it, and I deliberately don't spare it, so that you understand that things should be used as intended. And not be stingy with them, and not be afraid for them. And you need to use them to the fullest. That's why I love Victorinox. Despite the comments from armchair experts, they told me that after seawater it would rust and never open. I always swim underwater with it, and nothing bad happens. So where is it here? Oops! A mini oyster opened next to me. Very small but tasty. I'm trying to open the big one, and the small ones are opening in the process. The small ones that grow on top. Some kind of nesting doll. Come on. Oh, finally. What a labyrinth. Just like that. Wow. On both sides at once. Tasty. How tasty. Wow, this one is so meaty. Look how meaty it is here. This is what you call a good meal. Now I can safely go rest. Anyway, friends, I can't sleep. Someone is crawling near me. At first I thought it was crabs as usual. Then I realized it was something bigger. I thought it might be some birds crawling around at night, digging, searching for something in the ground. Then I realized it was something big. I figured it was boars. Decided to let them know I was here, but I understand it's not boars. I thought about the worst, huge monitor lizards, or something even worse. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's dug up here. Friends, there are huge tracks here. Huge tracks here. Look, someone's crawling there. Someone's crawling there. Wow, no way. Wow. What a big one. That's amazing, friends. It's a huge turtle. How big it is, friends. It's over 1.5 meters long. Well, maybe not 1.5 meters, but definitely over a meter. Look how big it is. That's amazing. I guess the egg-laying season has started. And this turtle came ashore to make a nest here and leave her eggs, leave her offspring. But I didn't think it would be so close to my hammock. What a night this is. And I had already imagined all sorts of things, thinking who it could be. Listen to this sound. First of all, you can tell it's something big. Something big is walking. Something big is crawling around me. Secondly, you hear these sighs. It's like huff, huff. Wow, that's amazing. I could never have thought it could be a turtle. I just couldn't think of that. Very big. Going back to the hammock. Okay, I won't disturb her. Need to get some sleep. If I can fall asleep under these conditions, and it's very audible, and she's literally 2 meters from me. Yes, friends. How did I not notice? Look. And the tracks lead here. Into the bushes. And through the bushes, she came to my hammock. Either I set up my hammock near her nest or the place where she'll nest. And there's a full moon. Almost full. Waxing, or whatever it's called correctly. That's amazing. So, despite the fact that there's no rain tonight, I won't be able to sleep because she's crawling around me. I definitely won't touch her with my hands. You can't disturb her natural cycle. She's heading somewhere. Let her go. Alas, this place is right next to my camp. I'll endure. I'll wait until she finishes her business and try to disturb her as little as possible. Well, yeah. I need to disturb her as little as possible. In 2 hours I can go fishing. I'm sitting waiting for the turtle to finish her business, lay her eggs, and swim back to the ocean, because falling asleep under these conditions is simply unreal. She's very loud. She's big and so noisy. It's just crazy. At first I thought it was something small. Then when I heard plastic bottles flying off, I thought, what could it be? Maybe some kind of chicken is crawling there, scratching the ground with its paws, searching for worms, larvae. And then when I heard a thud, such a boom, I was like, what? It's something heavy. It's something big. Took a flashlight and went to see what it was. Because the longer you wait, the more you wind yourself up, the more you imagine things in your head. And it turned out to be a big, harmless turtle. But it's amazing. The turtle came out to lay eggs, to leave her offspring. And I'll wait for now. I hope I can get some sleep before dawn. Because at 5:30 I'm going fishing. And it's already 10 to 4. But there's nothing left to do but wait. Sleep or not sleep? Turtle, sleep or not sleep? Where are you? Friends, now put yourself in my shoes. This is a completely uninhabited island. There's not a single person here. There's not a single house here. Not even any bungalows on this island. Not to mention roads or any signs of civilization. You know that on this island it's just you and wild nature. And in the middle of the night you hear heavy steps. Or something crawling. I don't know how to describe it. You hear how the ground reacts to the weight of this creature. You hear how plastic bottles scatter to the sides. Because something is walking. And you wonder who it could be. So big, you listen. Shocked that you're not alone here. And then you hear deep breaths. Honestly, I almost built a brick factory here. I was in shock, honestly, but I understand that the longer I wait, the more I'll wind myself up. Plus, whoever it is, I need to signal that I'm here. So that there's no emergency conflict situation with this animal. I get up and go to meet this creature. I see the grass is all torn up. On the ground there's a big crawling trail. I already thought it was either a huge monitor lizard or some kind of crocodile. But for it to be a huge turtle, it's over a meter for sure. I don't know, it seemed to me to be 1.5 meters. Very big. Probably the biggest turtle I've ever seen in my life. And she's just scratching, making her way through these thickets to someplace. Because she's going to lay eggs. So, today instead of sleeping, I'm assisting a turtle with egg laying. It's already 4 a.m. and in literally an hour I need to get up and go fishing. I don't know if I'll fall asleep. I'm on such an emotional high right now. But it's amazing, being alone with nature, far from civilization, when under you, 1.5 meter turtles are laying eggs. It's very interesting. I'll have something to remember. Anyway, friends, I'll try to sleep, at least for an hour. Because tomorrow I have a lot to do, and I'll need strength. I don't want to be walking around all day like a zombie. So, good night to everyone.